5, 3, action.
Hello, hi, beautiful people. Welcome to the very first episode of Pod of Work, the space where we keep it real about life, growth, hustle, healing, and everything in between. I'm your host, Chelsea SK, and honestly, this feels a little bit too surreal. I've been talking about starting a podcast for the longest time ever, and now here we are. Mics are on, energies are up. Let's get to work. But before I dive in, I just want to make things clear. This is not a overly polished motivational show. No, this is about the real stuff. This is about the messy middle, I'm doing my best, but also I'm kind of winging it stage. So if that's where you're at in life, then you're in the right place. So let's start with the really obvious question. Why Pod of Work? The name came to me when I realized that life itself is work. Not just the 9 to 5, but you put in so much emotional work. You put in the healing work, the personal growth, the showing up every single day for yourself. That requires a lot. And I wanted a space where we can talk about doing the work and not necessarily the success. People are so quick to talk about getting to wherever you're trying to get to. People talk about being successful, but in reality, nobody really wants to talk about how much it takes for you to get there, how much you're putting in, and how much of a toll it takes on you to get to the success. Right? The podcast is about self-improvement without the pressure. We'll talk about ambition, boundaries, self-care, relationships, and even those really uncomfortable topics that we usually avoid, but in a way that makes it feel like a deep chat with a friend over some coffee or drinks or even a joint. No judgment. Every episode, I want to leave you with something to think about, something to laugh at, and something that reminds you that you're doing just fine, even when it doesn't feel like it. Since we're officially starting the journey together, it's only fair that I tell you about myself. I'm Chelsea, just a young woman trying to make sense of life, love, and purpose. I'm 25 years old and I'm studying psychology and HR management, and I'm really passionate about conversations that matter, the ones that heal, challenge, and make you reflect. People always say I talk a lot, and they're not wrong, but I've learned that sometimes talking is how we heal, it's how we process, and it's how we connect. That's what I want Pod of Work to be. I want it to be a safe space. Whether you're listening on your way to class, chilling in your room, or cleaning your space, I want it to feel like a moment of honesty and intention. Every episode will have a word of the day, something that ties into our theme. And today's word is intentional. Intentional means done on purpose or deliberate. It's about showing up with purpose, not just drifting through life, but choosing what you give your time, energy, and love to. As I start this podcast, that's exactly what I want to be. Intentional about the stories that I tell, the energy that I share, and the community that I'm building. And hey, since we're still building that thing from the ground up, I'm actually looking for a co-host. Someone who shares the same vibe, energy, and curiosity about life. If you're good at conversations, love unpacking real topics, and think you'd make a great fit, then hit me up. I'll add the contact details in the description box. Right. Without derailing too much, what can you expect from Pod of Work? A mix of honesty, laughter, reflection, and maybe a little bit of chaos. Now, one thing about me is I thrive off of chaos, and some people might think that's problematic, but different strokes for different folks. You do what works for you, right? And chaos just happens to be my kryptonite. So, some weeks I'll have guests, students, creatives, entrepreneurs, people who are figuring it out just like us. Other times it'll just be me and hopefully a co-host sharing stories, lessons, and unfiltered thoughts. No fakeness, just raw, real, and relatable content. Expect conversations about burnout, friendship, adulting, mental health, and chasing your dreams, even when it feels like you're failing at it. Right? And cut. Okay, let's see. And that's a wrap on our very first episode. If you've made it this far, thank you for showing up, thank you for listening, and thank you for being part of this new journey. Remember today's word, intentional, and try to apply it in just one small way this week. Maybe it's being intentional about resting, or about speaking kindly to yourself, or about chasing that one thing that you've been scared to start. Now, before I go, let me drop a little bit of a teaser for our next episode. We'll be talking about balance, trying to hold it all together when everything feels a little bit too much. Because honestly, adulting is hard. Personally, I'm sick of it. I feel like I'm in this middle space where I don't know if I'm going forward or I'm going backwards, right? And I'm trying to balance school, work, friends, and peace of mind. And also, I must still do my skincare routine in the middle of all of that. I'm exhausted of adulting. It's a lot. So here's where you come in. I want to hear your stories. How do you try to keep balance? What throws you off? Have you ever just felt like dropping everything and disappearing for a while? Be honest, because I feel like we've all been there. Send me your story. It can be serious, funny, or somewhere in between. You can email it to potofwork@gmail.com or WhatsApp it to me. You can stay anonymous if you want. I might share some of your stories in the next episode, so don't be shy. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit subscribe, share it with a friend, and tag me when you post your thoughts. I'd love to hear what resonated with you. Until next time, keep doing the work, stay kind to yourself, and remember, growth is never pretty, but it's worth it.